Hello and welcome to Midlands at Home. On this week's show, we're talking old versus new in terms of marketing and choosing your style of property. This week's guest, I'd like to welcome Will Marshall-Murray from Fine & Country. Will, welcome. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you.
Now, you deal with rural properties and luxury homes.
Yes, rural properties, country properties, rural. We do townhouses as well. We do sell houses in the city, villages. So really a whole spectrum of houses. But where we specialise are, we call it the upper quartile of the market. So it's some of the bigger houses, some of the more expensive houses. And the reason we specialise is they do need a different approach sometimes. I think with marketing them.
Yeah,
so
absolutely.
a lot of properties, but unique properties as well. They don't have to be the most expensive houses, but if it's a nice little country house and so on, we sell them.
And that's not just here in the Midlands. This is right across the UK, London, and overseas.
Yeah, so we've got around 200 offices in England, Scotland, Wales.
Wow.
And we've got approaching another 100 internationally. We're growing, new offices opening all the time. We've had a couple of new offices open in Portugal, a new office open in North London recently.
Excuse to have a bit of a break in the sun, isn't it, after Portugal?
Yeah, well, we do get invited to all the office openings, but I think we're just too busy to get to some of them. But I think the next Portugal one got my name on it.
Yeah, I bet. Now, we're talking old versus new. Marketing is crucial, I think, in any business, isn't it? But when we think of properties and estate agencies, we're going to talk through now the different types of marketing. So traditional marketing, the older style marketing, what do we generally think of? Newspapers?
Yeah, traditionally, and it all starts off with a picture of the house stuck on a piece of paper with a description that somebody would go into an office and have a look at. And so that's how it started off, and things have developed from there. The biggest change probably was the internet, as it's changed most businesses, and you've got Rightmove, Zoopla and all the other websites. So that has made a big difference in terms of quality of photographs, presentation, and so on. And I think the last sort of 10 years, a lot of agents have kind of relied on that for marketing. And I think things are beginning to change again. Social media has had a big impact on things, and people do look at social media. And
that's given a whole new style of marketing then, hasn't it, with social media and...
Well, videos are beginning to take off now, and trying to create a little story about a house, and even a story about the vendors, which we'll probably talk about later. But it's about getting a message across, and I think a lot of people now as well are, we find, too busy to get on the internet all the time, and kind of rely on the agent if a new house is coming on to tell them about it. And again, that's going back to your old school traditional agency. You know your buyers, you know your sellers, and you match them up.
Yes, I suppose having an office, or the newspapers having an office, all the typical things that you might think of with an agency have been your traditional methods of marketing. What about new methods of marketing? So what do Fine & Country offer in terms of a new style? So
a lot of video marketing. I think there was a statistic about internet traffic, and over 2/3 of it being video traffic now on the internet. And that just, that points us to what we should be doing. People have got smartphones, iPads, a minute to get a message across in a video. It can be a very, very powerful tool. And if you can give someone the essence of a house, and or even a teaser into the house, so it attracts their attention and they want to know more about the house, that's really the way things are going, combined with a much more sort of lifestyle approach. So with the sort of country homes and the unique homes that we have, there's usually an element of, people might be massively into golf and want to be near golf courses, a lot of equestrian properties. So so we've got different ways of dealing with the different types of properties when there's a lifestyle element as well, and it's marrying the two up, really.
Yeah, of course. And you do the fetes, you do polo days. Talk us through your polo days. You've got one coming up, haven't you?
Yeah, so again, the polo day is probably a bit of a mixture of a traditional way of marketing and a new way of doing things. So it started off 6-7 years ago just as a thank you to vendors who'd sold houses to us. So it's a bit of a get together and a bit of a social event. And again, social events are great for selling houses.
Of course, everyone's in a good mood, good spirits.
Yeah, and it's grown and grown, and now it's a national event,
Wow.
almost international. We do get people coming in from abroad for the polo day. 5,500 people, which means it's the biggest polo day in the country now. And it's good because, yes, we do have a stand with our properties on and people come and have a look at what's available, but I think the key thing about events like that is it gets people talking, and because there's obviously property element to it. You could be chatting to someone, they might have a house to sell in somewhere, they're thinking about selling it, and we know that there's somebody looking in that area, and a lot of property sales get completed off market. So and again, that's your traditional way of doing things, knowing your buyers, knowing your sellers, and matching them up.
But when's your next one coming up?
It's July the 5th. It's Sunday. So it's a couple of months, so we're getting ready for it at the moment.
Fingers crossed on the weather.
Weather's important.
Yeah, always helps.
So we've had 2 out for the last 3 years. We've had amazing weather, and it's been an amazing day. So it'll be good.
Yeah, and you do village fetes. That's another thing as well, isn't it?
Yeah, again, village fetes. It's your traditional way of meeting people, get a local village together, and we've got one coming up in Barston, which is near Borsall Common. At the end of August, bank holiday at the end of August, and again, we get our brochures out, we put the houses on display, but taking it that sort of the next stage, we video it. We've got drone footage, so flying over. So when we promote a house in Barston, part of the promotional video that we do includes things like the fete and so it's taking that traditional approach and putting a modern twist on it. So in terms of the traditional versus modern marketing, you've got to do both.
Yeah, of course.
Absolutely.
And of course, that's why you
Pick the
do
best
these vendor videos, which we're going to show you now. Actually, take a little look at this. This is the Adams.
I'm Pablo, often described as the proprietor of this wonderful place. In fact, I'm the proprietor's husband. I love living here. It's home for me. I have the hard work of looking after some wonderful grandchildren in a great big house that is most exquisite for playing hide and seeking. I declare this is the longest I have ever lived anywhere in my life. 10 years. And in many ways, I don't want to stray far. Leamington itself is a wonderful place. The Adams is probably the most wonderful place in a wonderful place. For me, life has been one long excitement. I retired from the RAF in the early 1990s after a full career flying helicopters in hospitable places like Northern Ireland and the troubles of the 1970s, and my career finished flying as a fighter bomber pilot in the Iraq War of 1991. I'm sure people will understand that at the end of that period of my life, it was a time to try and settle down and get some comfort and joy. My professional joy, carried on by my flying airliners all over the world. As well as flying helicopters in an aggressive army support role, I was privileged to fly search and rescue for a little while. My children have long since flown the nest and they love to visit. My boy's a fighter pilot, my daughter is very successful in London, but joy of joys. My grandchildren and I use this place as our own special nirvana. It's wonderful for hide and seek, it's wonderful for games of tag. We've got a lovely large Old English sheepdog and she plays fully in the games that can last hours and hours. It's a family home.
Fantastic property. I know my children would love to play hide and seek in a building like that. Now, the house is called the Adams and the family of the Adams as well.
Yep. So it's all about the Adams.
Yeah.
And it's a great video, great owner. I think he comes across really well and tells the story well.
Interesting character, isn't he?
Yeah, and that's the point of these videos, to get a story across, to get a message across. And it's interesting with that one, that house, because we've actually done 3 different videos that reflect 3 different aspects of the property. So there's business, it's being run as a business as well.
Right.
And Mrs. Adams is, there's another video where she's talking about running the house as a bed and breakfast.
Okay.
And then there's a third video where a colleague of mine, John Hamford, is discussing the property as a development property, so there's potential to convert to flats, to extend. So an investor could go in and make some money out of the property.
A lot of scope. I think that's what's so lovely is you get that personal touch, and I think that's why they're no doubt so successful because of that.
Yeah, absolutely. We did a little stat where I think 20 out of 25 have actually sold where we've done the videos. So
really?
They work.
Gosh, brilliant. Well, don't go anywhere. After the break, we're going to be talking more new versus old in terms of style of property. So I'll see you in a few minutes. With 160,000 brand new homes being built across the UK every year, there's a fantastic amount of choice when it comes to buying new. The average cost of doing up an older property is £30,000, so it goes without saying that buying a new build could be a cost saver. Great quality building materials, latest heating systems, new windows with double glazing and great insulation, meaning lower running costs. New homes can use 40% less energy, which can save you up to £600 a year on energy bills. New homes can be safer and more secure than older homes. Fire safety is helped by the use of smoke alarms, fire doors and fire retardant materials. New homes often include security locks, burglar alarms and security lighting as standard. Most new homes come with a 10-year warranty too. These do not guarantee that your home will be free from snagging defects, but they do provide a useful cover, so it's often advisable to check when you're thinking of buying new. It's always nice to put your own stamp on a property, and the huge benefit of buying new is that you get to choose your fixtures and fittings. That's the exciting part. What colour carpet do you want? What bathroom tiles? And what taps are you looking for? Choose your kitchen worktops, tiles and your kitchen units. So much choice that when you move in you can literally put down your furniture, sit down, relax and enjoy. There are a few ways to help make the process of purchasing your new home a lot easier. One of these is the Government Help to Buy scheme. But how does that work?
The Help to Buy scheme was introduced by George Osborne in 2013 in his budget report, which stereotypically helps buyers looking to purchase and move within the residential property market. Very brief example would be a buyer looking to move with their 5% deposit. The government then steps in and lends up to and around sort of 20% of the deposit to help out fund the remainder of the deposit and make it up to a higher value to then enable them to move within the market.
Also look out for incentives, as some new builds offer to pay your stamp duty, offer cashback, flooring throughout, landscaping, or upgrade your fixtures and fittings, so be sure to ask. It's easy to see the clear advantages of buying a new build. However, if you want to put your own stamp on a property and you don't mind a bit of hard work, then perhaps an older property is right up your street.
Well, my preference has always been older properties, especially listed buildings because of the history. And if we're doing a property up, we usually like to research who's lived there and when they were built and that sort of, so build up a history. And then if you're converting an older property, you get a much better understanding of what to do with the building. First of all, we like to strip them back to the original fabric if we can, and then start from there and build up. Obviously taking into account modern sort of technology to a certain extent, but my philosophy is always to be true to the building, to the point of the materials that are used. Sometimes people will convert them but use too much modern fabric and it just loses the character.
Yeah, you obviously have to know what you're doing, which you clearly do. How long have you been doing this for?
Well, I'm a chartered surveyor, so I suppose to a certain extent I went into estate agency first of all, and then I sold my estate agency business because I was more interested in the actual property as opposed to the people. So probably 20, 30 years, that sort of thing, and we've done several properties over the years. We've done new builds, but an old place has more attraction to me.
Absolutely. I mean, this building is beautiful. Obviously, it's a period building. Can you tell me a little bit more about the history? Because it was your mum's, wasn't it?
Yeah, this belonged to my grandfather originally. He bought the farm, and my parents lived down the village. When my father died, my mother was left on her own, so she bought this for £1,000, I think
Wow.
it was. But that's going back a bit. And she brought some builders in to do a conversion. I was at college, so I wasn't even in that business. And I would call it not a very good conversion. If I could get hold of the original building again and do a conversion, obviously I would do it the way I've just described.
Yeah.
But and that's what it needs. If it's sold on the open market, hopefully somebody will do that.
So whether you're buying an older property or a shiny brand new build, there's certainly a lot of choice. But let's face it, we know as soon as we walk through a front door whether it's just a house or could be potentially your new home. So we're talking new versus old. Interesting subject, split opinion often. Will, what's your preference? A new shiny build or an older property with character?
Well, it's funny you asked me that. So I think in the past I'd have always said traditional.
Yeah.
Always, just like the character, like the space of the rooms, and the original features. I grew up in sort of Victorian house, and I think a few. Probably 10 or so years ago, there was a lot of new build going up. Quite, I think it got a little bit of a bad rap. But
yes.
But think about it now. I would go for a new build.
Okay, and why would you go for a new build now?
So I've changed it. It's purely down to children. So I've got young kids.
Yes.
If I was to move again, the idea of having to do all the maintenance costs, and also from my wife's point of view, I think it's easier. It sounds a bit sexist, doesn't it? But looking after the house.
Yeah. You just want to enjoy the children. I suppose it's a lifestyle thing, isn't it? A new build, you can move straight in, hang up your clothes in your wardrobe, off you go.
Yeah, and it's just, and so some of them being built now are very attractive. The rooms there, the garden sizes are getting a little bit bigger again.
Yeah, do you think builders are constantly, they're aware of, I suppose, the stigma from years ago where people thought new builds, small rooms, small back gardens, small plots. Do you think some builders are aware of that? And so it is changing a little bit with new builds? Yeah,
absolutely. I think so. So the more expensive stuff, some of them are amazing, and they are building people's dream homes.
Yeah.
So in answer to your question, it would be a new build house now for a number of reasons. But I think, once kids have grown up and left, I'll probably go back to a nice sort of more traditional house. But so it's
You've been converted, Will.
I have.
We're going to show you now actually these amazing homes, interior shots of a new build, and this is impressive stuff that we're going to see now. The stairwell. I mean, look at this. It's gorgeous. Very impressive. It's the wow factor.
It is, and that's the benefit of new builds now. You can have houses built, bespoke to your needs.
Yeah.
So,
open plan living that we can see here, Will, is so popular nowadays, isn't it? That family space, easy living.
Yeah, definitely. And you see that picture there. You can have the kids doing homework over there while doing the cooking, getting their tea ready.
Look at that.
Yeah, these images have been created direct from the floor plan creating as well, so they're deadly accurate. These images.
Beautiful fireplace. Lovely to have that sort of that feature, isn't it, in the room?
Yeah, it's beautiful. Massive bedrooms as well.
Yeah, look at that for space. Certainly no small rooms there.
No, big dressing rooms.
Gorgeous.
There's a bit of a trend as well going on now with new builds about getting the laundry room on the first floor.
Oh, okay.
So rather than having it downstairs, it's
what a good idea. Because you take all the clothes, you get it all out, you get all the clothes, and you take them upstairs. So what a brilliant idea to have on your first floor.
Yeah, so that's I think it's been brought in from abroad.
His and her basins, Will. Can't go wrong there, can you?
I know. Cinema
Can't moan
room.
at your other half.
Yeah. Lock yourself in the cinema room.
Yeah, the kids would be quite happy there, wouldn't they? When the kids have gone to bed, put your feet up.
And then the gym. I mean, gyms are important, and I think with a lot of the bigger new builds now, it's the lifestyle thing we were talking about again. People want gyms, people want swimming pools, and they want that house.
That was I think there was a top 10 things of what people want, and actually pools, gyms, they were on. It surprised me. They are on the top 10.
Yeah. It sort of finishes off a house, really, doesn't it? 'Cause it means you don't have to leave.
Yes, no reason to leave your home.
Yeah,
true.
absolutely.
Yeah, definitely. So very interesting with the new versus old. And I've got a friend that has got an old property, but she's put brand new conversions. So she's got the new elements involved, but actually it is traditionally an old building. Do you find that quite a bit with your agency?
We were selling a house last year where the owner built brand new glass extension on the side of his house, and it did really split opinion. And it was a beautiful old Victorian house, and it was an amazing sort of architecturally glass designed extension. And I thought the two went together, fantastically. It looked brilliant, but they do polarise opinion.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's interesting, isn't it? I think if it's done well, it can be great, but it's a bit Marmite sometimes, isn't it? You're either going to love it or you're going to hate it.
Absolutely, yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
That's right.
So, your agency, do you know, you've won Best International Real Estate Agency Marketing at the International Residential Property Awards. But you also won 2 awards, Best Estate Agent in the West Midlands, so congratulations on that, and Best Estate Agent in Warwickshire. So you're obviously doing something, right?
Well, it's a combination of everything we've been talking about, the traditional marketing, the new marketing, the type of houses that we're getting on, the real focus on customer service as well. So we do get great testimonials from our clients, and it's a combination of trying to be a bit innovative as well. So, not just relying on newspapers and the internet, for internet portals, so Rightmove, Zoopla, but just trying to push the boat out a little bit further to attract the right buyer for that house. Yeah,
of course, and it's thinking that one step ahead, isn't it? What's the next thing? What's the next trend? What are people next going to be into in terms of marketing? So
it's in getting that message out there. So videos, social media, that really is what it's about at the moment.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, all the best. You've got the polo. You have to come back after the polo day.
Yep.
So good luck with that. Join us next week for Midlands at Home, where we will be following a property auction. So we'll look forward to seeing you then. You take care.